I was doing some consulting work in Hawaii at Hickam Air Force Base. And it was incredible to work with all these incredible officers. And many of those in the room were pilots as well. And I was talking to this one particular colonel. And I asked him his story. I was like, tell me your story. He goes, what led you to want to be in the military, to being a pilot, all these things? He goes, actually, it didn't start with me wanting to be in the military or even being a pilot. What it started with was one trip. I was like, tell me more. He goes, well, it was Fresno. I said, Fresno, California? He says, yeah. I was like, I've been to Fresno. Hasn't changed me much. Okay, no offense to Fresno, right? But I was trying to figure out what makes Fresno so awesome, right? And this is what he said. He said, to a young man who had never been out of South Central Los Angeles, it was one field trip. We went on a field trip. We got outside of my neighborhood. I saw something I had never seen before. And as we were out there, I saw giant windmills and I saw hills that I had never seen. I was seeing land without a bunch of buildings around. I had never seen that before. Imagine being 15, 16 years old and you've never been out of your neighborhood. You've never been out of your community. Basically, a fishbowl. Now, once he gets out there, he looks all around, he gets to Fresno, they have the great time, he comes back. Now, the difference between him and the goldfish was this. As people, let's keep it real. Like if he immediately went from, South Central Los Angeles and to everything he's doing now, maybe that gap was a little big. But here's what he did instead. Once he got to Fresno, once he experienced that trip, he had to go back to the fishbowl. But the difference was he wasn't the same. His expansion of awareness changed him. All of a sudden, the fishbowl felt small. He didn't know it was small before until he got out there. Now, when he comes back, different things start coming to him. How do I see more? Are you telling me there's a whole world out there? Are you telling me there's even more than just these windmills? All of a sudden, he looks at everything differently, and he starts to figure out, how do I go see it all? How do I go experience it all? Now, is military the only way? No, but he got multiple options, and that was the one that he chose. Not only did he choose that one, he chose that one, got to go to college, became a pilot, experienced all these great things. Now he finds himself stationed in Hickam Air Force Base. This was the same young man in South Central Los Angeles who had this experience. Now, this is amazing. That same experience in terms of self-imposed limitations, while I was down in South Central Los Angeles, when I was speaking, when I was still playing in the National Football League, I remember sitting down with a young man at one of the schools. I asked the young man, I said, what do you want to do with your life? He looked at me and he said, man, this is my life. He was a junior in high school. He goes, I'm never getting out of here. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm stuck here, man. This is my home. This is all I got. And I looked around. Now, keep in mind, I had already experienced my time with the colonel in Hickam Air Force Base. I realized that he saw something that this young man just had never seen. And as a result, he believed he was trapped. I looked at him, I said, man, there's a bus stop right there. You can go anywhere you want. Man, no, I'm stuck here. Now, let me ask you all this question you hear. You hear the extreme of that story. But let me ask you, how many things have you settled with? Remember what I said at the beginning, born to win, conditioned to lose, conditioned to settle, conditioned to hesitate, conditioned to sit back. These are the kind of things you got to bring out front and then begin to ask yourself, how can I have experiences that expand my awareness?